you all had a coffee this morning? Ready to go? Okay. Before I start, I wanted to just say two things really quickly. The first of them is that to run events like this here in Jakarta, we couldn't do it without the generosity of, first of all, I'd like to give a huge thank you, and I would try to pronounce your name, but my pronunciation of Indonesian is very bad. But can you please help me give a big, huge thank you to University Burnet1 and the other person that I wanted you to thank, who runs the Indonesian Adobe user group and puts in a huge amount of work. I don't think any of you are aware how much work it takes to actually organise this sort of event and constantly run the user group, providing information and feedback. And he's someone who really supports us at Adobe and gets our information out there and helps us. Could you also help me give a huge, huge thank you to Ahmed? The good news is that I've got lots of really, really, really cool things to show you. The slightly bad news is that in order to run the presentation, we don't have any internet here at the moment, so I'm using I live in Singapore. I'm using my Singapore mobile phone, using an Indonesian data roaming plan, and using it as a hotspot for both my computer and my iPad, so that everything running today is going to be a little mess. And not only that, when I set up 20 minutes ago, one of the things that happened, and I'll talk about this a little bit today, but one of the things that happened is that the Creative Cloud, and I'll talk a bit about the Creative Cloud later, the Creative Cloud, there's a desktop application, and when I came in, the desktop application wanted to update. So it's happily sitting there in the background. Normally that would take about a minute. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to have to leave that in the background running. But what I wanted to do first is just talk a little bit about some of the things we're doing, and then I wanted to show you a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been told that I not only have, so we've changed the session times. I don't know if you realised, unfortunately, one of the speakers, his mother was ill and had to go to the hospital, which is sad news. So we've swapped the sessions around, and I'm now, and apparently I can keep talking till like 10 o'clock tonight. So before anyone drags me off the stage. So I'm just going to keep going until someone drags me off the stage. Okay. Can I get an idea? How many of you are graphic designers? Come on, be proud. You're cool, creative people. How many of you are developers? Boring people with no life. No, I'm joking. I'm sort of a developer and a designer as well. Can I ask with the graphic designers, how many of you are also, like, you design for the web or mobile applications or interactive as well? Oh, okay, quite lots and lots. How many of you were here yesterday? Oh, only a couple. Good. So I can tell the same jokes and no one will know. Okay. So I'm going to quickly sort of go through a bit of an overview of some of the stuff we're doing with the web, and then I'm going to go on and show you a whole bunch of stuff, lots of design things across both the web, but also some other cool stuff as well that hopefully you'll enjoy. But what I wanted to just start talking about at the beginning was where we're going with the web at Adobe, what we've been doing. And before I start, just quickly, that's me. I live in Singapore. I'm originally obviously Australian, as you can tell from my very badly spoken English. And my role is as an APAC evangelist to travel around and do this all around Asia Pacific at Adobe. Okay. So I wanted to talk about some of the big things that have happened in the last couple of years with the web. And obviously one of the largest of those things is HTML5 is relatively, well, sort of not that new, but relatively new. And all the browsers now support HTML5, or at least all the major browsers support HTML5. And so do browsers on devices, which is sort of pretty cool. So we've been doing an awful lot of work with it. I don't know if any of you are old enough and remember back when originally when we were designing and building the web, the only two web browsers were Netscape Explorer and Internet Explorer. Do you remember back then? No one. I'm the only old person who remembers that. That's fair enough. But now, the cool thing is now, so that's all you had. You had a desktop computer with a browser and two browsers. That's all you had to worry about. Now, we've actually got a huge amount of different browser engines, and also, not only that, we've got these things, and if my mobile phone wasn't attached, I'd wave that at you as well. Mobile phones. So we've got all of these different screen sizes, we've got different web browsers to build the web for, so it makes it really pretty difficult. And also people now are building a whole range of different types of websites. In the past it was very much sort of static, sort of brochure websites, but now people are building all sorts of different things. I'm going to come back and talk about the cloud, the Adobe Creative Cloud later, but before I go on and talk about the tools and the applications and stuff, we've been doing a lot of work at Adobe for the web with the W3C. If you don't know who the W3C are, they're the organisation worldwide that basically runs the web. They approve all of the standards for the web, so that things like HTML5, CSS3, etc. They approve all of those standards. We've been working very closely with them and looking at what will the web look like in the future. So today the web is just now HTML5, CSS3. We could do some really cool things. But what's it going to look like down the track? And we've been wanting to sort of push that forward and make the future of the web a really, really cool place. And what we realised that at Adobe is that we're really good at, well, we're good at a few things, but as far as the web goes, there's three areas that we thought we could give back to the web. And these things that I'm talking about now are not things that we're selling. They're not tools or applications that we're selling. These are technologies that we've developed that we're just giving back to the web, to the future of the web. So we looked at it, and the three areas that we thought were really pretty good at is the first of them is magazine style layout. So if you guys who are graphic designers, you work in something like InDesign, you know that InDesign allows you to do really nice layout on a page. You've got images, you've got text beautifully wrapped around images, different text blocks and styles and text, etc. So what we did was we took that skill that we have in that area and we created a technology based on CSS. In fact, it's not just based on CSS, it is CSS. So there's no weird plugins, nothing strange. To allow you inside a web browser to have images and text beautifully wrapped around. Because today, all you can do is have a rectangle. If you've got a beautifully round image or something, the text sits around it in a rectangle. That's all you can do today. So in the future, you'll be able to actually nicely wrap text. And this is all done just in CSS. Also, to have different regions of text on the page, that as the page changes size, etc., the text changes in the different regions of the page. The next thing that we looked at is cinematic effects. So we have these cool, effects like in things like After Effects and Flash and Photoshop, where stuff is. What we wanted to do was take that technology and put it into the web as well. So again, based on CSS, no strange plugins, just built into the browsers. We've built this thing called CSS Custom Filters, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. And this allows you to do some really cool creative stuff with web content on a page. Obviously these are all in the future. The last of them that we looked at was the ability to do things like blend modes and compositing. So you know in Photoshop how you have multiple layers in Photoshop. And on each of those layers, you can change the blend mode. So, you know, darken, lighten, overlay, multiply, all of those. What we've done is we've taken that technology and put it into CSS, so that in the future you'll actually be able to have multiple images laid over each other in a web page or text or video or whatever, and actually apply blend modes to the content, to the images inside the browser, just using CSS, not using any sort of weird plugins. What I want to do now is sort of show you a bit of a demo of this. And in order to do this, we've been working very closely, as I said, with the W3C, but we've also been working very closely with WebKit and incorporating these technologies into WebKit. And we've also been working very closely with all of the major browsers. So Apple with Safari, Microsoft with Internet Explorer, Mozilla with Firefox, Google with Chrome and Blink. So we've been working very, very closely, and Opera as well. So, and in fact, the cool thing about it is that I'm going to show you one of these already in iOS 6. So I'm going to just show you on my tablet, and cross your fingers that everything works, because things are a little bit slow with the connection that I've got. So bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to jump. Oh look, it's getting there. That's usually that takes about 1 minute on a proper connection, but that's awesome. So, okay, so let me show you what I'm going to do in order to do this. I'll just push that to the side here. Let me just get my iPad up on the screen.